You know if you go to vacation over the weekend and you forgot to take your garbage out?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, what the garbage starts to smell like.
That's what it tastes like the way garbage.
Don't sniff it, just do it. Don't sniff it, just do it. Don't sniff it, just do it.
That is hands down the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Don't sniff it, just do it. Don't sniff it, just do it. Don't sniff it, just do it. Let's get ready to rumble!
And for you watch, hey, listen. Grab a Chicago hot dog, sit your ass down on the sofa, and tune in for today's episode. And remember, don't sniff it, just do it.
Yo, so Dan's pissing, and I'm just going to start recording without him. So this is You Watch, I Listen. We're going to do, I'm actually recording. I'm going to do a live read for ladies and gentlemen, bros and broads, and gardeners of all shapes and colors. We are here to tell you about our favorite drunk podcast, Fudge and Fudge's Shots for Podcast Fudge and Friends. Drunk and loosey-goosey. The Shots for Podcast likes available on all capital podcast platforms, iTunes, Stitchers, Spotify, and Google at shotsforlightpodcast.com. Don't drink alone. Drink with the Shots Podcast.
All right, now I'm going to give him a real read. Ladies and gentlemen, bros and broads, and genders of all shapes, sizes, and colors, we're here to tell you about our favorite drunken podcast, Fudge and Finn's hashtag Shots for Like Podcast. Fudge and Finn and friends come into their studio to talk sports, video games, movies, shows, and of course have a few drinks to get loose. The hashtag Shots for Like Podcast is available on all podcast platforms, including iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play Music. Follow them on Twitter at Shots for Like, on Instagram at Shots for Like Podcast, and on Facebook at facebook.com/Shots for Like Podcast. The longer you wait to listen, the more shots you're going to have to take on your own. Don't drink alone. Drink with Fudge and Finn. And I got to apologize. I had a scheduling conflict. We were supposed to be recording with them tomorrow, and I am unable to. And thank you to Fudge and Finn for both being very understanding and very cool about it. I think our tentative plans right now are October 5th.
I need to check.
It's a Friday, which is usually when we record.
Ow!
That's what you get. What are you doing?
I'm in a really bad mood today.
Well, I think I want to start out the show by I want to start out the show
show's over.
by having a very good laugh, like a good ha 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 ha. Do you know why I'm laughing, Ralph? Why
are you laughing?
Because the New York Jets gave up the 635-day
Well said.
635 days without a win for the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield looked great. I took such great joy in the Jets losing, as I always do, but this was extra sweet. And do you know what the second longest losing, or what is now the longest losing streak in the NFL?
Giants?
No, the Houston Texans, who play who this weekend?
Oh, the Giants.
So both New York teams may succumb to the longest losing streaks, but it's still not as bad as the Jets losing to the Browns.
I mean, the Jets. First of all, if there was a team, there were two teams that could have been candidates for this: the Lions or the Jets, or the Chargers. I put the Chargers in there because the Chargers.
That was their last win before this. The Chargers.
It was the Chargers.
Yeah, it was the Chargers.
But yeah, I mean, it was great. Maybe
it was also a very fun game. So, props to the Browns. I'm very excited to see where they go. So do you want to just jump into our reviews from last week?
Jump in.
And then I have a bunch of stuff. I kind of think we're like a little loose right now.
I have a good amount of stuff.
Yeah, I think I'm going to smoke a Marb. You want a Marb?
A Marb?
Yeah, I have Marbs. We like Marbs.
What type of Marbs?
What do you
Reds?
think? Yeah, the manly Marbs. Come on. I want to know. So I got.
All
this,
right, I'll smoke a Marb.
I got this pack. We'll do it in a minute. I got this pack of Marbs. We were out for our friend Lena's birthday this past weekend, and I don't like being in bars all the time, and I got cramped up, and I just said I'm going to go out and get some fresh air. So I'm out there. I'm smoking my Juul like a fruit, and some random guy who was at the bar by himself listening to headphones. He asked me if I have a lighter.
Wait. Who wears headphones at a bar?
Exactly. So he's like, "Do you have a lighter?" And I said no. And he starts asking all these other people, and I've never seen so many people come in out of a bar and that many people not have lighters. So I was like, hold on, I'll go get you one. So I went to the landlord inside and I got a lighter from her. And he's like, honestly, dude, I only wanted one cigarette. You can have the whole pack. And I'm like, I don't really smoke, but now I have a pack of Marbs, and you can't call yourself a man if you have a pack of Marbs and you don't smoke them, even if it's gradually. You got to smoke them. Wouldn't you agree?
No.
Yeah, well, you need a Marb. Come on.
You didn't even do the Lucky?
No, I'm an adult. I don't need a Lucky. I don't want the Lucky now. You're ruining it.
No, I'm making it better.
It's not going to taste any different.
That's how you prevent cancer. if you do the Lucky.
Should have told some people I know. Don't make that face. I'm not talking about anyone particular. Grow up. God, just because sensitive things are happening doesn't mean I'm general. I'm being general here. Grow up.
General grow up.
General grow up. General Growhow. You missed Growhow last night. Growhow came by. Yeah, it was just for a little bit. I didn't even get to say bye to him. I actually hit him up as I was leaving because I decided to stop at Wendy's, and I can't go to Wendy's without thinking about Justin.
Yo, so I when I ran to, because we ran into a bunch of people, we
had a service.
Yeah, we had a service
for a family member of a friend last night,
and I ran up to Sal Giamanco.
Yeah.
And I look at him, he looks at me, and he makes like that like Sal face. Like, hey!
He's like,
so
I know
pointed
you, but
him,
I don't know you.
And I went like, I know you. And he goes, I know you too. And we shake hands. We're talking for a good like 45 seconds.
He didn't remember your name.
What's your name? And I go, Ralph. He goes, okay. And he walks away.
So now I feel better about my relevancy because he saw me and goes, is that Dan Perosi? So now I feel a little better about myself because I have very few victories in my life. So before we go into I want to also give a shout out again to Lobo Sound. Vincent Lobo Sound has been hitting me up with some great. Vince is one of my favorite people.
Go to his website. What is it?
Lobosound.com.
Go to lobosound.com. Pick up the Bobo EP, Songs of a Humorous Nature, and they're working on the Songs of Festive Nature.
Yeah, the Christmas album.
Oh, I am so pumped.
Yes,
for it.
I'm very excited. Bobo told us today on Twitter that he misses us, so I miss you too, Bobo. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Now that the Mets are out of it, but at least we're going to get a nice DeGrom Cy Young out of it. So why don't we jump into our picks? I would like to go first.
Okay.
So I'm going to give this album my very first 5-star review. The Offspring's Offspring.
Are you legitimately?
I loved it, man. Okay, so the full disclosure, I told you I had heard it before. There was, I think, everyone in our age bracket from ages 8 to 12 when the Offspring really blew up in '99 with Americana. You became an Offspring fan.
Yeah,
How could you not like Pretty Fly for a White Guy, and you couldn't dislike Why Don't You Get a Job? Even though it's a ripoff of the Beatles, it's a great song.
It's a full ripoff.
It's a full ripoff. So I wasn't as familiar with this. I am Smash, Americana. What was the one right after Americana with the original Prankster?
Conspiracy of One.
Yes, and that wasn't that bad either.
It's okay.
I kind of dug that. I liked original Prankster. That was a badass song. It was goofy for what it was.
In my review, I wrote up, by the time because Smash...
They were a parody of themselves.
Smash
almost.
was a huge album, but Smash was weird because it was huge and then they went away.
Yes.
Like it was like almost like
there was 5 years between them.
And then Americana, which I think is the one album everyone
relates them to. They know the
they're
album
like a
cover.
Novelty band at that point.
Yeah.
And people forget they actually made real music at one point.
Exactly. And so again, this is their debut. Is it an album or an EP? I guess
it's an album.
It's an album.
Yeah.
It's just called The Offspring. My favorite thing about it is that, and I've said this to you before with an album like Cut Copy that you gave me, I was like, I didn't feel any fun when they were recording it. Like there was no joy. What I heard with this is guys that were really discovering something that they love doing together specifically. Like there was a great chemistry, even if they were off at times.
And they were off a lot.
Yeah, but it works because the sound of it is raw. It's gritty. The opening song right off the bat, Jennifer Lost the War.
I think that may be
great song.
That may be my favorite Offspring song.
Literally, when I heard the first song, look, I gave it a 5, and I only had to give another 5 out to know that I love this album. And my other favorite song on it was Beheaded. And the main reason I love Beheaded is it had a very much of a Misfits feel to it in the songwriting, the structure. It's very much like a raw punk rock album, kind of almost in the vein of Cheshire Cat from who was that? Blink-182 before the Dude Ranch.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like that. It's very raw. It's very gritty. But it just had such a good flow, a good feel. It is a truly, truly enjoyable album, a very easy listen. It made me rediscover why I liked The Offspring for a long time.
It doesn't sound like a band that's destined for greatness, though, and that's what I like about it.
Yeah, no. I think that's part of the pleasure of it is the fact that it wasn't trying to do too much. It was they were in their lane. They knew what they were good at. They didn't put any heavy-handed sap songs.
No.
They sounded like they were having fun. You could start to hear the early roots of things like Pretty Fly for a White Guy because there were some just like fun, goofy lyrics in there.
Yeah.
There's some songs where the music is high quality and there's some songs where the music is low quality, but it doesn't diminish the album or the song.
There's a bad chord here. And I like when bands I like when a band keeps a mistake in the album.
It makes it feel more real to me. It sounds like they just said like they only took like 5 cuts to record it, like to actually get the final copy of the song. So there wasn't a song on here I disliked. I literally have to give it a 5 because even if there was a song that I only gave a 3, it did nothing to impact how much I love this album start to finish. Like I said, it's making me go back and listen to other Offspring. It's making me listen to Smash. It's listening to Americana.
I still think Smash is their best album. That's like a hack answer because
it probably is. I think that there's a difference between. Someone just asked me the other day, and I know you're not a diehard Green Day fan, but
I'm a huge Green Day.
But where do you cut them off though? Like, where's your cutoff for them? Like, are you a fan of American Idiot?
I love American Idiot.
Okay, so someone asked me the other day, what is their better album, Dookie or American Idiot? And I said...
Completely different albums.
I said, okay, so I like Dookie more, but from a musical standpoint, a structure standpoint, the better album is American Idiot. That was at their most mature, their most structured, their smartest writing, but what I'd rather listen to is Dookie. 100%. So that's the difference. Like, the Offspring, the album The Offspring... I probably like it more than Smash, but Smash is a better album.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
You kind of get the idea of what I'm saying.
They actually have a song and I've never heard it before, and I'm sure I could just find it on YouTube at this point, but before YouTube became big and you could just find any song, on their original pressing back in '89, they had a song called Kill the President, which got taken off for obvious reasons.
Oh, well, I wonder why. Was Kathy Griffin on it?
And now it'd be a hit.
Yeah, it probably would be a hit.
And then people, it's just a performance art, dude. It was my First Amendment rights. But so for the longest time, I was really curious about Kill the President. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Okay.
I'm sure I could find it now, but I'm really curious about. And apparently, from the reviews I've heard, it's a shitty ass song. Like, it's not good.
I would imagine. It's
I like a good mysterious or hidden track.
Like,
or whatever
I
the case
legitimately
may be.
don't remember the last Green Day Offspring song that was like a single. Like,
they had that.
I don't know if you can.
I forget what it's called. The one that went. You're gonna go far.
Oh,
the one that dance. Fuck, that song sucked.
Oh, I hated that. That was like where I was like, this is where I'm kind of done.
That's
with
Conspiracy. The one that had fuck, what was it called? Hit that. That album's where they all. That's where the bottom fell out.
Oh yeah. Do you remember when they were in 2 movies? I remember. They were in Monkey Bone. They had a short cameo in the movie Monkey Bone, starring one of the all-time great actors in Brendan Fraser. And they had a somewhat like a big scene in Idle Hands, which I love. Idle Hands. You ever saw Idle Hands?
I never heard of it.
It's Devon Sawa.
Is
Seth
it Idle
Green.
like IDLE or
yeah?
Idle,
It's about the whole premise of it is Idle Hands are the devil's playground, and his hand gets possessed by a demon, pretty much kind of thing. Say hi. We're on Facebook Live now.
Hi, Facebook Live.
So again, this album, I got to give it 5 stars. I truly enjoy it.
It's a surprisingly fun album.
Yeah, no, that's
and they
probably,
don't play any of those songs live. Like, they're not even Offspring fans. Like, I don't think it's like one of those like cult classic.
I should
albums.
ask Adrian, because Adrian was just telling me he took his son to his first concert, and it was the Offspring and 311, but he only stayed for the Offspring.
I hate 311.
Oh, 311 sucks ass. I people, when they tell me they like 311, I instantly have a different opinion of them.
I don't disagree.
So again,
right.
I give a 5-star review to The Offspring. The Offspring. That was I got to give you props, man. You killed it with that pick.
And that one was just kind of a spur of the moment. I need an album for Dan, and that was like one of the last ones I was listening to. I was like, I'll just go with this one.
Yeah, for sure.
No, and the more I listen to it, the more I'm like, I really always forget about this album and how much I really like it. Okay, so you gave me Whiplash.
Yes, Whiplash,
Okay,
starring Miles Teller, J.K. Simmons, and the guy from Mad About You.
Yeah, the doctor from the Stranger Things 2.
You're right, absolutely right.
So, first things first, I really like the movie.
Cool.
J.K. Simmons' performance, great, deserved the Academy Award.
Yeah, amazing.
But there's one thing I hate about it.
All right, what's that?
It's not the movie's fault. It's nothing in the movie's fault, but there's one thing that made me hate the movie.
What's that?
Your asshole statement, some movies play checkers, this movie plays chess.
But it's true. No, I'm talking about the mind games, not the movie itself.
Fuck you.
No, it's true.
What a hack comment.
It's not a hack comment. You compared them to fucking Green Day, The Offspring. You did the same shit in yours. You did the same kind of thing.
That's a band from the same genre.
Okay, not from the same genre. Let's be fair.
One's not a jazz quartet and the other's a fucking folk band.
Hey, dickhead. I was comparing the mental warfare. He wasn't playing little games. He was setting up his moves 4 steps ahead, was he not?
No,
and with that closing scene, did he not set up for a perfect checkmate?
Yes.
Like that's what I'm talking about. The mental warfare was so far advanced. It was
It's a great performance. I think it was a pretentious, stupid ass comment.
Oh my god!
From a stupid
You're
ass
supposed
person.
to give pretentious comments when you're leaving reviews. Critics are pretentious.
You're not a critic. You're
I
Dan.
am a critic. I have an opinion
You're
about everything.
critical about everything except the Offspring, apparently.
I absolutely am. No, I'm not critical on the Offspring. That's a good point.
The two things you like: the Offspring, and fucking Tom Cruise movies.
Why do you always go back to Tom Cruise? Okay,
Because
fine.
you're talking about Tom Cruise all the time.
Welcome to You Watch, I Listen, where Ralph is going to give 4 albums no one's ever heard of, followed by one people have heard of. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm giving you a Tool. I'm giving you the Tool album with the alien priest thing on it, whatever that's called.
Lateralis?
Enema or whatever.
Isn't Enema?
I don't fucking know. Anyway, Whiplash.
So let's go back. Let's go back to serious about just the movie itself.
I really
now.
liked Whiplash a lot. I don't put it in the top tier movies you gave me. Me and the fiance were talking
She
about it.
texted me and told me she loved it.
See, she gave me a different. So she said she liked it a lot, but
She said it was one of her favorites that I've given you so far. So she's making an asshole out of you on the air right now.
she did say it's one of the better ones you gave me. She seemed more critical of it than that, though.
Okay.
Couple things that she said, and I don't quite agree with her though. She said it's the same movie as The Wrestler, which I fully disagree with it.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
So
It's not a character study.
the only two things different that I see similar is an obsession.
Bordering on obsession.
Yeah, good one. Well said.
Good improv, Dan.
Keep smoking those Marbs.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Mac's mom.
By the way, did you see the new Always Sunny?
I just watched it last night. Let's get into that after.
Oh.
Let's stay on track. I want to actually talk about that.
Other than that, that's the only similarity I could see.
More similarities to Full Metal Jacket, just in the drill sergeant boot camp kind of thing.
I actually felt that it was like a sports movie.
Yeah.
Very similar sports movie where you have, in place of the coach, you have the band leader. You have the person who's giving it all and it's just not good enough. And you have to cut everything out of your life to be the best.
Yes, I agree with that. By Facebook Live. We're going on Instagram
One
now.
problem that not a problem I had with the movie, so it's not a demerit to the movie, but one thing that I struggled with is there's no real likable characters in the movie, which I don't think is a bad thing, but it's one of those things where you have to overcome that mentally. I think
agree
the
with
kid's
that.
a little shit.
Yeah, he is.
I hate him. When he started getting smacked, I felt bad for him. At the end of the movie, I would have smacked him harder.
Well, what's funny about that, and I gotta figure out how to go on live.
Talk about
on
a kid that
Instagram.
has no game too.
I don't want to. Yeah. Oh my God, he had 0 game. So you said
Still better than
the
Colucci.
well, that's not saying much, is it?
We should remake it with Colucci.
Let's go live. And some weird guy just went live. So how you were saying there's no likable characters, and I think that's
The dad's likable.
The dad is likable.
He's got a real small part though.
Yeah, I think one of the strengths of the movie is the sense that they start at the movie making you think you're supposed to like Miles Teller's character, Andrew Neiman.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
And then as you see his obsession continue to grow, it's like this kid's a little shit. Like he's obsessed, and it doesn't make any sense. But how you just compared Whiplash to a sports movie? Go ahead. How you compare?
Are we
What'd
still?
you do?
I don't know.
Oh my God!
How do you go back?
He sucks ass. I'm not giving you my password. Pause. There you go. So the thing with
I just did it again.
what is wrong with you? This kid, he has an iPhone and he keeps fucking locking it. Grab it from right here, you
Because
little
your hand's
shit
there.
dick.
You watch, I listen.
So how you just compared it to a sports movie? That's actually a really good point.
Why don't we just put it on the fucking stand?
Because it doesn't go up tall, and on Instagram and Facebook, if you go like that, I noticed after the fact last week that we were sideways the whole time. So, that how you just compared it to a sports movie. One of the podcasts that I've talked to a lot, they're awesome podcasts called the Dare Daniel Podcast, and if you guys haven't heard them, they get dares on Twitter to watch bad movies and then review them, which is a really clever idea. And they did a thing. What is your favorite like sports like big game ending? And that's what Whiplash's ending was. And the ending is,
I'll say
the ending's brilliant. I love the ending of the movie.
The ending was so. The ending bordered on being horrible, but it was perfect. So, if they did it any other way, if he fucked up, if he walked away, if he made an ass,
or if he got like a standing ovation,
whatever they would have done, other than what they did with it just ending,
it would have sucked.
It would have sucked, and that's where it's similar to The Wrestler too, where it gives you
ambiguity.
It's a man at his peak, and you wonder what's next.
Well, it's also a man that he was defeated for a moment there, and then he came back as like one last fuck you. But also at the same time, there was this admiration between the two of them, and
that's the one thing. I don't think it was a problem with me, but it was an interesting choice the movie did where they humanized J.K. Simmons' character, which I don't want to say I dislike it because I'm not one of those people where we glamorize. I'm not one of those people, okay? But it's very hard to have someone where he's a villain, he's a villain, he's a villain. he gives you his motivation, but I don't like his motivation.
Correct.
Usually, if you have a villain and he's sympathetic, you go, I understand. I may not agree
Yeah,
with it. I didn't.
multi-layered.
Yeah,
kind of
I
thing.
didn't see. I just saw an asshole.
Yeah,
So the fact that they humanized him, I thought was an interesting choice. I don't think it did the movie disservice. It was just I didn't expect that.
I think the thing that I disagree slightly because I kind of like that is because you saw Andrew Neiman, Miles Teller's character, go from completely despising this man to hearing his side of it and then suddenly being like, I get it now. I get it. And then he brings him back and you get to the ending thinking like, you know what, maybe this is going to end with them having a mutual respect for each other. And all it is one last fuck you because you cost me my job, motherfucker.
And it's cool. He comes out of his shell at the end, and he has his moment. So I liked it.
Yeah.
I think J.K. Simmons.
He's
the only
brilliant,
problem with
brilliant.
it is, and this is the only problem that I had with the movie overall, other than personal opinion, is it suffers from
pass it back now. Let's see.
it suffers from Dark Knight, where one character so is above everything else in the movie, where scenes where he's not in
Someone
it.
goes, Dan said the F word. Brad Dudes. So
Who's Brad Dudes?
Trash garbage guy.
So, when one character is so above the next, scenes that he's not in, even though they may be good
absolutely.
scenes,
And Miles Teller's good, but J.K. Simmons is just so
he's okay.
Yeah.
And you know, he might have actually been good, but he's so
Overshadowed.
below Simmons that
it's like Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. Gary
it's
Oldman's
almost like
great.
Hank. It's to put it in a baseball comparison, Eddie Matthews, Hall of Famer, great, but we don't really know how great he is because
Fair.
he's in Hank Aaron's shadow for his entire
That's a great
career.
point.
And it's hard to really gauge it. I like the movie. I put it in. If you put the Looper, the Wrestler,
Death Sentence.
Death Sentence,
Draft
number one,
Day.
Draft Day. You put those in top tier. I put in that second tier. I'd say 3 out of 5, maybe 3.25. But Simmons' performance, maybe the best.
He was
of any.
he was next level, and there were some, like I said, there were scenes where when they first see how much of an asshole he is. Where I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, I'm
It's
actually
so tense.
I'm uncomfortable when he. Let's see if you're in the front just because you're cute. Yep, that's why you're in the front. And then when he brings in the other drummers to compete, and they just go for 6 to 7 hours nonstop, and then watching Miles Teller's obsession border on to life threatening when he's driving, going to get his sticks, and then the accident, which you saw coming, obviously. The second he got in the car, I'm like, oh, he's going to crash.
You expect him to crash, or I actually thought he was going to have a panic attack and pass out on stage.
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
But, yeah.
But watching how he just morphed into this asshole and he was being nasty to a kid who was his friend beforehand, Conley, the other drummer.
I forgot that he was friends
and
with
then
Conley.
I like jazz, so the music was
Music was
awesome.
great.
The music was great. It was a great atmosphere for the movie.
It's based off Buddy Rich a lot.
Grow How likes your sweater, by the way. Run the Jewels sweater. So you give it like a 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
It's
Probably the most unique movie you've given me.
For sure,
That's
for
not
sure.
like a science fiction. Like the most unique real movie
Yeah,
you've given me.
I agree with that. So I'm glad we both had picks that we enjoyed. It was a very easy week, and you watched it earlier in the week than you
so
usually
I
do
usually
as well.
watch either the day of, if I can, or the day before, so it's fresh.
Yeah.
I actually finished my grad class, so I have
congratulations!
free time
Did you
finally.
fail?
I got an A. I kept my 4.0 going.
So
Improv is yes and, and I just went no.
So, do you want to just jump into our picks for this week, and then we can go over random bullshit? Little bit of a different format?
I got some weird stuff for you this week.
So why don't I jump in and give you one now? I actually wanted to ask you.
What's up?
Well, first off, when I talked to you about Whiplash, I wanted to give you the other movie, and you said you wanted to watch it on your own. But are you actually going to watch it on your own?
I'm going to.
Okay,
I
we'll
really.
see. We'll
There's
see.
a few movies that I
know you
on-
have. You said the same thing with the Blade Runner 2049. You still haven't watched that.
Then give me
dickhead.
Blade Runner 2049.
I'm not giving you Blade
I
Runner
want Blade Runner
2049.
2049.
No, I'm not giving you
Okay,
that.
Dan gave me Blade Runner
I'm not giving you Blade Runner
2049.
2049.
I'm
'cause we had
giving
an
him.
agreement on how we were going to do that, and that's for a later episode. So I want to ask you. Okay, I'm going to give you two options.
Okay.
There's a genre that I've never given you before, and then then the other option is a very recent movie. So I want you to pick.
Give me the genre.
Okay, I'm going to give you a documentary. And this is
Ooh.
going to be a documentary that is up my alley of fandom, just like yours with An Honest Liar was.
Yeah.
This is related to pro wrestling, but I wouldn't say it's a pro wrestling
Oh,
documentary.
I think I know the
The
one.
Resurrection of Jake the Snake.
Thank you. I'm big on that one. You've been
So,
recommending that
yeah,
one for a while.
The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. Obviously, if you're a wrestling fan, it's going to mean more to you. But
I know enough about it. He's such a pop culture icon.
Jake the Snake was a hugely popular wrestler, but it's mostly about struggling with addiction and overcoming addiction. Jake the Snake was one of the most popular wrestlers of the 80s and 90s. Who is honestly, he's one of the loose stories about the wrestler. It's loosely based on him in a lot of ways. And you see Jake the Snake at his absolute lowest. Like, they show a video when he was at an indie wrestling event, like in a farm. Don't be a dick. You're ruining radio. It says Ralph Aleka joined. Wave. So he's at like an indie wrestling show that's like in a barn, right? And are you live now too? Asshole. Sent a request to go live. He's at like an indie wrestling show in a barn, and he is completely fucked up, probably drunk and on crack. And he starts taking out his genitals. Like, it's really ugly. He goes to live with DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. Scott Hall comes to live with him. Razor Ramon, for those that don't know.
The 1 2 3 Kid?
Which
one's the 1 2 3 Kid?
That's Sean Waltman. That's not Scott Hall. He was part of the NWO and D-Generation X. So I think this is one that I've recommended to a lot of people that aren't wrestling fans, and they loved it. It really is a powerful documentary.
I like a good documentary.
It's going to make you. There's certain scenes, and especially if you've ever seen addiction up close, whether it's alcoholism, opioid addiction, anything like that. There's some things that are really going to resonate with you. And I remember watching this with some friends, and a friend that was recently actually in rehab, and it meant a lot to him. Mm-hmm. And then it starts to promote the DDP Yoga, which is a phenomenal program, and it shows how it turned his life around. So I really, really think you're going to like Resurrection of Jake the Snake. Yeah. And I believe it is available on like Amazon Prime right now. So we're going to log off Instagram Live now. Peace out, guys.
All right. So I'm actually mixing it up a little bit. I'm giving it an album I recently discovered that was recommended to me by someone else.
Okay, who was it recommended by?
The fiance.
Oh, never mind.
So,
is it brand new? Okay, brand new. What album?
Brand new. The album's called The Offspring.
Diddling Kids.
So, last summer, me and the fiance, I think I've said this before, we gave each other...
engaged.
We got engaged, yes.
There's the end. Whitney Houston.
25 albums, our favorite 25 albums.
Yeah, I remember.
And I listened to all of hers, and she listened to one of mine. So, just a metaphor for a relationship.
Absolutely. Do the laundry.
Do the fucking laundry. So, one that she gave me that I was really surprised how much I liked it, No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom.
Okay.
I've always liked No Doubt, but I've only known, the stuff they play on the radio.
What year was this? What?
I think it was 90...
This is when they were good. Tragic Kingdom.
It was their first, big album.
Okay, then I've definitely heard it before, but not since I was very, very young.
Yeah, it has most of the No Doubt songs that you know are on it. Spiderwebs,
Great
Just
song.
a Girl, whatever.
Great song.
But there's a lot of great filler, and I put that in quotation, songs on there. I was surprised how strong of an album was, and I realized that No Doubt actually... They kind of are pigeonholed. They have a female lead singer, so there's going to be people.
They got compared to Sublime and 311.
They're better than Sublime.
I would agree with that.
And you know how I feel about Sublime.
Yeah. I think Sublime, they fall into that Nirvana category where they're held in a certain prestige because of how young the singer died.
Sublime is more the lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure. The lifestyle.
Yeah. It's like Jimmy Buffett. People don't really like Jimmy Buffett.
That's a great comparison.
Yeah,
so
they like what he represents.
Absolutely.
No Doubt, really fun album. I randomly will put it on and be like, why am I listening to No Doubt? And then 3 or 4 songs and I go, oh yeah, because it's actually a damn good album.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a little long. I don't think it's a double album, but it might be like an album and a half. The fiance has it on vinyl, and I think it's 1.5
yeah, because I think people that are our age and probably a little bit younger, they only know the back end of No Doubt, and they probably know
that kind of
shit. They
shit.
know Gwen Stefani better, and Gwen's solo stuff is trash. But No Doubt,
but it's not for us.
No, of course not. She found a great market and a great niche, and she ran with it. And God bless her. She was also married to that scumbag douche Gavin Rosdale, who I fucking hate. But now she's with some country singer, so she doesn't really upgrade, like a lateral move.
I know. Oh wait, no. Actually, I changed my mind. I'll give you Blake Shelton. The album's called No Doubt.
If you ever gave me a country album, I would just say the show's over.
I would never give you I'd give you a real country album. I wouldn't give you any of this.
Old school I can deal with. You give me some fucking...
Johnny Cash.
Yeah, Johnny Cash.
My favorite Towns
Alan
Van
Jackson.
Yeah.
Like that kind of shit. Kenny Rogers.
I hate Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers sucks. The Gambler. You want to listen to that?
Oh, God.
No.
Okay, cool. I hate how Kenny Rogers, the pitcher's nickname was The Gambler because of Kenny Rogers.
So No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom. I actually really dig that because it's something I'm familiar with. One of my best friends growing up, his sister was like a diehard No Doubt fan and Gwen Stefani fan, so I heard it all the time. But she was really getting into like the newer Gwen. Like this, I don't need to know how to spell bananas in a song.
I'll tell you this. I never misspell bananas like that song.
That's a good point. So thank you, Gwen. So you're just talking. This is going on the same subject about your 25 like albums.
Yeah.
Have you seen people on Facebook recently doing the whole like 10 most influential albums and tag someone? It's so a bunch of people
Don't they
tag.
do that every summer?
A bunch of people tag me in that, and I never play those things. Like there was ones recently like most influential TV scenes.
Didn't we get tagged in like tag your boyfriend or girlfriend who means the most to you, and you and me kept getting tagged at each other?
I know. So the landlord and I were having a discussion like, what would your 10 most influential albums be? And it was actually, she struggled with it more than I did. Mine was pretty like cut and dry because I thought about my developmental stages with music. There was a couple that I was a little weird leaving off. Like I have to put Slipknot's debut album on because that really influenced my taste in metal and my favorite band. System of a Down Toxicity is one of my most played albums.
Yeah.
Tool Enema has to be on there. Nas Illmatic, Marshall Mathers LP. And that's when I have to start getting like a little weird with it. Like, am I leaving off?
Like, there's great Bruce albums that I leave off because.
But is it your most influential
that's
for
the thing,
shaping
yeah.
your taste in music? Like Dookie, I have to put Dookie on there. Dookie
would definitely be on
when I
there
started
for me.
playing music, that album
Dookie
meant
would be
everything
on
to
there.
me. So that would be like my 6.
You know what would be on there? Like random things like my dad would listen to, which got me into classic rock. Like
Fair.
The Eagles had a live album. It's an awful album, but he used to listen to that all
Got
the
you
time.
into the Eagles.
That probably would be on there just because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have discovered Zeppelin. If I didn't discover Zeppelin, I wouldn't have discovered Hendrix.
Yeah,
You know,
for
that
sure.
kind of thing. That's an interesting.
I was thinking about bands like I love Taking Back Sunday. Their second album got me into that genre of music. I was completely closed-minded to it. And then I think of bands like Silverstein who are heavier and they mixed in screaming, and that was more up my alley. I'm thinking about Pantera. Like, how can I say A Vulgar Display of Power is one of my favorite metal albums of all time. It's a very tough conversation.
Best metal of cover art.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's one of the best album titles ever. A line from The Exorcist, like a key line from The Exorcist that was overlooked before that as well.
Metallica would probably be on there, but I don't know which Metallica album
Yeah,
I'd
that's
put on
another
there.
thing because their first 4 are so...
Probably, the one I probably put on is And Justice for All,
I
which
was
is
gonna
my
say,
least favorite of the big
but
albums.
Influential-wise,
That's the one that
it's
got me because
incredibly
I
important.
loved one, and then I listened to shit.
Like I said, Tool being on there, I don't know about A Perfect Circle. I don't want to put 9 Inch Nails. I'd have to put The Downward Spiral on there. Or The Fragile, which is one of my favorite double albums.
There's a couple albums I've given you that
Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Blood Sugar
Yeah.
Sex Magic would have to be. That made me want to play bass. So I think that's a really interesting
You want to
conversation.
do that for next week?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah,
10
I
most
can-
influential and why. So we have a little more time to think about it.
We don't need to go deep with it. Just a couple
No,
lines
just
why
like
they're important.
exactly like where.
I'm sure. I guarantee you and I probably will have 2 overlaps.
Okay.
Green Day, we've both said.
Yeah,
Green Day, we
Duke,
both know
yeah.
on there. You know what'd be on there? Weird Al would actually be on there.
I actually Weird Al, and I was telling the landlord the first album I ever bought with my own money. Not that I think it's a great album, but it was the first one that made me want to spend my own money from like fucking doing chores. Was Rob Zombie's Hellbilly Deluxe, and it was so cool at the time because it was cool artwork. I knew Some White Zombie, and there were these songs with these simple, fun lyrics. Especially being a young horror fan, it connected with me in that way. So, and then I think about Misfits album. There's so many things I can go back to, and I'm not even thinking about classic rock. I'm thinking about my formidable years.
I would actually need to go through my old iPod and see my most listened to.
You know what? Actually, even better for me. Inside, I have a couple books with like CDs in it still, where I can actually look at them. Like CDs that I've had for years. CDs that I had to buy multiple times because I fucked them
Party
up.
all the time.
Like Power Man 5000. When. Yeah, is that a band you haven't thought of in a long time?
I forgot Power Man.
Yeah, lead singer is Rob Zombie's brother, in fact.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I know. So, okay, cool.
So
That's a fun thing for
I
next
got
week.
something for you.
What do you got for me?
We haven't done this in a while, but I want you to watch a video.
Okay.
So while I pull
Is
it
it
up.
you blowing a horse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just happened to
I was
have-
going to say, if it's not, I don't want to watch it.
Okay. So, quick question.
Sure.
What would you say is often considered to be the greatest movie of all time? Name just a couple that would be
The
up there.
Godfather, Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane.
Okay.
Citizen Kane, who do you think of when you think of that? Orson Welles, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Judy Garland. What do you want me to say? Who else are you going to think of?
You know what? I need time to pull up the
I know.
fucking video, so I was just
Who do you
stalling.
think of? Fucking Brando? Like, what the fuck do you want me to say, asshole?
Here's a video I want you to watch of Orson Welles filming a... Did you see
Yeah,
this?
the wine, when he's getting drunk.
When he's drunk off his ass?
Yeah,
Can
this
we
is
just
great.
watch it? Because
Yeah, go ahead, play it.
We'll put it on our page. I've been dying. I've watched this
Didn't you
video.
hear when they played this on O&A once and they did a riff on it?
You know what? Maybe I've seen
That might
it
be one
before.
that there's still O&A that we
There's
come across
O&A.
sometimes.
You know, I might have missed that one.
That's a fucking...
You know what?
That's how I found it.
I've discovered the Sam's a furry clip.
Yes. All right, go ahead and play.
All right.
And- I'll turn your mic up. Don't talk into it,
Okay.
so you can actually hear it a little better. Go ahead.
2, take 1. With overlap, action, please.
It's not picking up anything, so it's just us giving commentary then.
It's going through my headset.
Action, Orson.
I can hear it.
Yeah, but look at the
Just
recording.
trying to think. No, it's sorry, cut.
There you go.
Yeah, rolling.
Orson Wells is drinking wine.
102, take 2.
He's just standing there.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California champagne by Parmesan, inspired
Look how he smacks the
by that
bottle.
same French excellence. It's
fucking
fermented in the
hammered.
bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Parmesan.
Citizen Kane getting
Oh,
drunk
take
at a
3.
commercial.
Action, please.
He's scratching his head.
The French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There is a California
No one's gonna hear anything because you're laughing like a
Parmesan,
jerk off.
Inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. So Parmesan.
This is like the famous "I Love Lucy," though the Vita Vita Benjamin.
So I was walking around the apartment. It would be dead silent. The fiance would be on the couch, like reading a book, and I just go, "Oh, the French champagne."
He sounded like Terry Schiavo.
I must have watched that video.
I can't believe you've never seen that, man. That's fucking
Never
great.
saw it. But wait, here's the best part. I found clips of him, like ones where he wasn't shit-faced, and you don't realize how drunk he is till you hear him with the regular ones. Here's a 1981 where he's not going.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm here at Parmesan Chateau in California. Almost every night here there's a wine tasting
Now
party.
you can really experience how drunk he actually was.
Every syllable perfectly enunciated.
He's a great speaker. Orson Welles was known for his speaking, and like. Yeah, we'll post that clip on the Facebook and Twitter because that is literally
it is a classic.
it's an all timer.
How much do you love drunk celebrities? It is one of
Oh my god! When there's videos of drunk celebrities, it is.
I
truly
wanna kiss you.
I was gonna say. I was
The
thinking
team
about,
struggling.
I could care less about the team struggling. He is He's a passer, not a thrower.
I want to kiss you.
All right, cool. Let's jump into some other stuff.
All right.
I heard some news that will upset you based on your personal beliefs. Someone you really care about that's done a lot of work that you're a fan of is saying he's going to move to Canada.
Who was that?
Michael Moore. Get the good riddance. Like,
know.
I'm not even going to get a political thing. What a jackass he is. Like, please go.
Okay, can we stop
What?
the Ralph's a liberal thing, because I can't fake
Dude,
it for this guy. I hate him.
It's so funny how many people bite on that. We have to break kayfabe here. He's not a liberal. I'm probably more liberal
No,
than you.
me and him actually will get in debates all the time, and I would say neither of us are one side or the other.
Yeah, we both lean a certain
Like,
way.
for instance,
but
we'll talk about, and I don't want to go too deep into it, we'll talk
Sure.
about gun control. And you and I, you're not left wing on it, but you
No.
and I'm like, you know what, I'm a little more on the right, you're a little on the left, and it's very,
yeah, but
I make one comment about Gran Torino, and all of a sudden I'm at the women's rally.
Yeah, that's actually accurate because you came off like a little cuck then, soy boy cuck.
Wait, we gotta go to the.
Yeah, It's Always Sunny
Always
last
Sunny.
night. Okay, first off, when I saw that it was The Gang Beats Boggs 2, I was
I knew
like,
exactly where they were
but
going with
the
it.
fact that they made fun, they did an all women's reboot, and they made fun of all women's reboots, but in a grounded way, saying like, let's do something original, which has been our argument the entire time. Do something different. Don't make fucking Ghostbusters. And they fucking crushed it last night. That episode was hilarious.
It was better than the first Wait Boggs, which is a classic episode in its own.
I was talking to my buddy Aaron about this before. Is there a bad episode that features Artemis heavily?
Artemis is one of the best peripheral characters in
Sub-characters?
any
Dude,
show.
The part that made me laugh the hardest is when they walk into the bathroom and fucking Frank is just there, and the waitress is like, I need to break Dennis's record. Just pop it in quick. She says, pop it in.
Doesn't it say like feminist AF on his shirt?
Feminist AF. This season's been, I love the season
I
premiere.
did not like the last season at all.
I know you did.
didn't-
I liked it. I liked it more than the one before it. Like the Hero or Hate Crime episode, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah,
that was a brilliant
good
episode.
one. I feel like they had too many of those outside the box
Yeah,
episodes.
fair.
None of them were bad, but I think you can do maybe
But
one or two of those per season.
The season premiere, they did such a good. And by the way, I don't think we said we're talking about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The way they kept everyone in the dark. I thought Dennis was gone until the last minute of the very spoiler alert. Dennis is back, but it's a fucking the doll. The doll is so creepy. Why'd you bleach it if you didn't have sex with it? And now Mac is it's I could honestly say it's one of the funniest shows,
called,
if not the funniest show.
The name of the episode, the name of the bar is, if you haven't seen the show, Patty's Pub.
Patty's
and
Pub.
the name of the episode is Make Patty's Great Again. So you automatically go, okay, one way or the other, they're going to do Trump. Almost no Trump.
They make
no
fun
politics
of liberals and conservatives
for like 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and then it just goes into a sex doll for some reason.
And then when you finally get to see what Dennis's room is like in action on the second episode, it is the most grounded show in things that people get in trouble for making fun of.
You know what it is? It's almost like South Park with that, where
Very
few shows
comparison.
can make fun of these topics and do it where you go, huh. The gun control episode?
Brilliant. The gas crisis, all these things that they've done. The Hero or Hate Crime episode was so brilliant because it showed literally about 30 seconds of being poignant, and then they instantly went back. And it constantly makes fun of itself with the transgender woman that Mac is in love with. The way they handled that, going from making fun of it to being like an accepted thing. They are probably the smartest show next to South Park.
The gang solves the North Korean crisis.
It's just it is such a. I would say as far as funny shows for me, it's in my top 3 of comedic shows. Chappelle's Show's number 1 still.
I think there's maybe 1 or 2 episodes that I would bypass.
The gang cracks the Liberty Bell.
That's horrible. And then Frank's brother.
That one sucks. One of my favorite episodes is Frank's Little Beauties.
Frank's Little Beauties. What his
my buddy told me the same guy.
His nose is broken.
My buddy Aaron told me for Halloween he's going as Frank in that episode. He's gonna cut his hair like that. That's what you and the fiance should do. You should be Frank and she should be D. She has the blonde hair, so she could do it. You'd have to cut your hair if you do. Would you do that?
No, because it's 2 weeks before the wedding.
2 weeks before you're there with that.
I do commit
the horseshoe haircut that you did yourself.
I just thought of a great Artemis moment. Is the episode where they want him to do a classy back room, and they open the door, and she shoved the wine bottle up with him. And he's going, take it out.
It's just, It's Always Sunny is literally, it has to be.
We're not saying anything people don't know.
No,
it's wonderful.
Where would you rank it in like comedy shows all time for you? Like Chappelle's Show is my number 1. I don't think there's 2 funnier seasons of any show ever than the 2 seasons of Chappelle's Show.
It's either 3 or 4. I know the first 2 are Arrested Development's number 1.
Fair.
Simpsons, just because of its impact
Legacy,
on these
yeah.
2. And then it'd either be King of the Hill or Always Sunny. I don't know which one I'd put on.
For me, it's like
much different
It's Always
shows.
Sunny. Chappelle's Show, like I said, number 1.
I like Chappelle's a lot. I just
love
don't put it
Ricky
in my...
Gervais's Office. I love his Office. I think is brilliant. I love The League. I think The League is, especially because The League is very It's Always Sunny like. A lot of improv. They're all friends.
It's a different...
it's more slapstick. It's way more slapstick than
I
It's
just
Always
don't
Sunny.
particularly
Fair.
love
No,
The League.
I get it. And there's people I know that don't like It's
You
Always...
know what it is? I put The League is comparable to me as Trailer Park Boys, where
Fair.
there's no
Great point.
real
Great
depth
point.
to it beyond what it is, but it's funny. It
And
makes you laugh.
you know what? We just talked about this the other day because he was on Boomer and Geo for some reason.
Tom
The Tom
Green.
Green show was so
Tom Green
next
is-
level. I would love to go see his stand-up next time he's in the area.
You know what it is? I don't know what to expect, though. Does he tell jokes?
Do you know what my thought of him as doing stand-up is? When on the show, he was like at that resort in like the Caribbean, and he gets on stage and they're all excited because it's Tom Green. He goes up and he just goes, for 20 minutes.
You know what it is?
It's an episode. He follows a hermit crab on the beach and just speaks French to it.
He's almost, you know what it is? He's almost, and this isn't, it doesn't do it justice. He's almost Andy Kaufman with some of the things he does.
He was trolling right on the brink of the social media boom. He was doing real trolling, following the pizza delivery guy around and then coming with the tackle box filled with pizza toppings.
If Tom Green came out today, I think I'd hate him. But the fact I grew up with him makes me love him.
I also think it's because there's so many people like that. Like, we see all the videos of people in stores, like those douchebags like Logan Paul who are doing dumb stuff, who Logan Paul wants to fight in the UFC now.
Oh, good.
Dana White said today, if I let him in the UFC, I should be arrested.
Is he going to fight Kebab?
Oh, God. Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. I don't care if you wrestled in high school. Stop calling him Kebab.
What? Oh.
Kebab. Shut up.
Oh, what else do you got?
So I had a couple.
Oh, the
I had a
friendship,
couple. I had a couple. Okay, so in sad news for you, for the first time first time in their franchise history, the Yankees had to watch the Red Sox celebrate winning the division in the Bronx. However, there was a moral victory because only one fan of a certain team proved to be dumb enough to do this to himself. The Red Sox fan decided to jump up on top of the Metro North train, reached up and grabbed the power lines, electrocuted, dead. Go.
Oh. One less fan.
Like,
I don't know. I have nothing to even say.
I know.
about
I was
that.
hoping for that.
I feel bad for the guy's family.
Do you?
Yeah.
The Red Sox fans. They don't feel bad for you if you died. Think about it.
I don't know. Probably they do.
No, they're from Boston.
You're right. Everyone. You know what? You're right.
You shit on Boston more than anyone I know. No matter what, you can't acknowledge Red Sox players are great.
Yeah,
fuck
but
Dustin Pedroia.
Okay, tell the story, but let's flip it. Just do the story again.
A Red Sox fan after they
Fuck yeah! Fuck him!
He's
Go
dead.
fuck! You know what we need to do? Another 350,000. Woo! Go Yanks! Pinstripes. Read to spect.
Read to spect.
Is that better?
That was better.
I hope his family does it too.
Like,
fuck yeah!
Like, what a you like. You imagine his whole family of Red Sox fans. Like, you're celebrating, popping the champagne, and then you get a call. Hey, your son. He was probably had an extra chromosome, and he jumped on top of the Metro North. And I would just be mad that I didn't get my train home because he killed the power going to it.
Oh fuck yeah!
I was
Go
hoping
Sox!
you gave me the
1918. Curse is reversed. Wait! I forgot who I'm pretending to be.
Yeah, exactly.
I mixed it up.
Okay, so some movie news. Space Jam.
Yeah.
Space Jam. Are you excited for Space Jam 2?
I am, but I thought they've already announced it like 3 times.
So it's been.
I feel like they announce it every few years.
This was the first like confirmation. It's been rumored for a while. Like obviously it's been in the works for a while. But what is surprising me about the announcement is how adults are saying no one's going to go see this.
It's not for you.
It's a fucking Bugs Bunny movie, dude. The kids today don't know who the fuck Michael Jordan is, and that's half the reason there's a debate about who the greatest is, because to them, LeBron will be the greatest. Just like kids that were slightly younger than us, Kobe was the greatest. So why are adults complaining that the movie's going to suck? Was Space Jam some kind of Oscar winner that I forgot? I love Space Jam, but is it some kind of Oscar-winning movie that I forgot that it won awards?
I think Bill Murray got Best Supporting Actor.
No, you're incorrect, actually. It was Wayne Knight.
Wayne Knight.
Got best, and Larry Bird was nominated as well.
And Bill Murray was in the movie, though.
What other basketball players do you think will be? You'd have to think that he's going to have Dwayne Wade in it.
Okay, Dwayne Wade
Carmelo.
will be in. Carmelo will be. Is it going to be the same plot? I hope they do the same plot shot for shot.
From what I understand, they're trying to convince Michael Jordan to have a spot in it, which I think would be nice.
But
he's such a cocksucker that he wouldn't do it. He's too busy gambling.
Okay. Would it be great if they're just...
I'll go see it in the theater.
Would it be great if they're just like busts like Greg Oden, Smush Parker?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Kwame Brown.
I love me some Kwame Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Greg Oden.
No, didn't he beat the shit out of his girlfriend?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, poor Greg Oden.
He's got a ring. Adam Morrison.
Oh, my God.
Adam Morrison has one less ring than LeBron.
Oof, that's sad. So, yeah, I figured we're excited for it because we acknowledge like Space Jam is such a piece of our childhood. Remember how big that movie was when we were kids? Was there anything like it when we were kids?
It was weird. You know what it is? It was the 90s. If there's one movie to choose from the 90s, it might be Space Jam.
Have I ever told you about my brother going to see Space Jam?
No.
So my older brother, Rob.
I think it's the first time you and I have ever talked about Space Jam.
What are you talking about? Your fiance? The fiance had a Space Jam birthday party.
That's a fiance.
At your house.
Was I there?
Yes.
Huh.
There was a lot of Burger King.
No, it was Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, that's right.
I bought $200 worth of Taco Bell.
I put a Mexican pizza under. Sorry, the land knees.
The land knees?
Yeah, Cortland. I'm mixing all the names up.
Cortland Sutton?
I'm a little buzzed right now.
Wait,
my boss was force feeding me drinks.
You're a little buzzed?
Yeah.
Do an ad for Paul Masson champagne. The friendship. Can we just have that drop available?
Yes, I think we need that. But so my older brother Rob, my oldest brother, I only heard about this like when I was like 16, 17 years old. He went to see Space Jam in the theaters with his friends, and they were trying to sneak a bunch of beers in. And he was wearing a trench coat, so he had like a ton of beers, but he dropped acid beforehand. And he's like, he hates talking about the movie. Like, he gets mad if you bring it up.
Because he freaked out?
He freaked out.
Has he seen it since?
Yes, because this is the best part. I got it for my niece for Christmas one year, and she opened it, and she I think she watched it with me once, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and I just look over, and he's like this, just staring at me like a death gaze,
Death grip,
death sentence, and he's like, I just remember
Yankees are winning 4-0.
Good. He was like, I remember just freaking out, and I'm like, why is Bill Murray playing basketball with Newman? And he was
nothing in the movie makes any
no,
sense.
I can imagine that's a movie you could have a very bad acid trip about. So Space Jam 2.
The movie is a bad acid trip.
That's true. Space Jam 2 is coming out. We didn't have to talk about it last week. We had to talk about it off the air. I wish you had a PlayStation because you so badly.
I do have a PlayStation.
PlayStation 4?
Oh.
You so badly need to play that Spider-Man game. Dude, I can't tell you how much you would enjoy it.
I do want it.
It's so much
I might get,
fun.
you know what it is? I might get it once we're done saving the wedding and stuff, I might.
Well, yeah.
I might just splurge.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea.
Although I really want the new Nintendo. I want the new Zelda.
You can get both.
Okay.
And you gotta
buy me one.
You also, I mean, you're gonna get Red Dead when it comes out, I'm assuming.
Is Red Dead? It's not PlayStation exclusive, right?
I don't think so. That would be very, very poor business decision if it was. So Spider-Man is literally probably the most fun story mode game I've played in forever. The map is gorgeous. It's literally New York City.
I've seen clips. I've seen it.
It plays so well. And what it made me want to do, and I just did it in the last week, is I revisited the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire. And the first two, they're dated technology-wise, but they're still fun.
The first one I don't think is that good. The second one's okay.
I love Doc Ock in the second one. The guy that plays him, Alfred Molina, is amazing.
I need to give
Doc
the second
Ock.
one. I've only seen the second one a couple times. I've seen the first one a bunch, and I don't like
the
first
thing that you have to embrace with it is who the director is, and that's Sam Raimi, who his game is campy, and it's very, very campy. Now, the arguments would be, what are the better Spider-Man movies? I think the first one with Andrew Garfield was great. The Amazing Spider-Man.
That's my favorite Spider-Man.
Did you see the newest one, Homecoming?
No.
It was amazing.
I have to watch it for the Marvel. I have to watch all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, exactly. Which we should probably do when this. I think we do that leading up to the next Avengers film, and then we just go see it in the theater.
Yeah.
But the one with Andrew Garfield, I thought was the best, the most accurate interpretation of Spider-Man. I thought the villain, Dr. Connors becoming the Lizard, was amazing.
You know what it was? It was the most. It felt the most like a superhero movie. We haven't superhero movies now, and this is going to be so poorly described. They don't feel like superhero movies. They feel like there has to be a perfect amount of fan service. You need to do this. You need to be a storyline.
Easter eggs.
Like The Amazing Spider-Man, it just felt like a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And I like that.
And what's funny is that it really was only there to stop Disney from getting the property. They only did it again because if they didn't, then the rights reverted to Marvel, which is why they kept making X-Men movies, but those are reverting to Marvel now as well.
Now, are the X-Men movies,
they're not being remade. No,
I don't care.
No, no. So the Spider-Man stuff, the game, if you guys have not played it and you have a PlayStation 4, you got to run out and get it. It's broken the record for fastest selling exclusive PlayStation title by like a long shot as well. I have some other stuff. I don't know if you had anything else.
I got one thing, kind of goofy. Read the headline.
Woman's tongue gets inseminated by squid after eating undercooked seafood. You know, I've heard about this happening to people before. Like they got eggs laid in their mouth.
And up to this point, you always thought it was an urban legend.
Yeah, and because the truth is,
this is a real website.
I ate calamad tonight. So I love...
What'd you call
it? The way Guineas call it, fried calamad.
It's galamad.
Galamad. What did I say?
Calamad. Like you didn't commit to it.
Yeah, what am I doing with my life? Yeah. It's like the same thing. Mozzarella. You only say mozzarella if you're getting mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, I just say mutz.
Yeah, I mean you could say mutz sticks, but the only time I say mozzarella is if it's mozzarella sticks. I always yell at the landlord for how she says ricotta. 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 Yeah, it's like if you grow up with Guinea family, that's what happens. Bunch of dirty wops. Yeah. So getting your mouth inseminated. Now, what do you have to do to stop the process, I guess is what you would say?
You don't. Okay, so apparently this is what happens.
Okay.
And I'm looking for photos, and I can't find photos, and I'm not sure if I want to see them. But apparently she just bought a squid, threw it in a pot of boiling water for, they said, seconds, and pulled it out and shoved it in her mouth.
She deserved to have the squid birth from her mouth.
Yeah. And she opened her mouth, and there were little bugs on her tongue. Well, apparently the way the squid disperses its sperm is it has little sperm sacs which wiggle. So she
That's literally making me... That's fucking gross.
That was in your galamad tonight. Check your tongue.
Oh, dude, that's fucking gnarly. I don't get.
I've never seen.
Oh, Jesus.
Did you drink the shake?
I'd rather. That's fucking.
We do this. You do this a lot, actually, but
Yeah,
not
but
from
it's
description.
not from description. Oh, dude, that's fucking gross. I'm crying.
She had 12 of them, and when they removed them, the doctor removed them. They wiggled on the table.
That's like I'm trying to. There's a movie. It reminds me of Prometheus almost.
Oh,
You right? You saw
yeah.
Prometheus? Did you like Prometheus?
It was okay.
I liked some of the lore, and Michael Fassbender was.
I
great.
need to. You know what I need to do? I need to watch all of the Alien movies in.
Do you though?
No. But like, I want to see if like there's stuff I missed or whatever. I just watched it kind of out of the blue, and I didn't like it as a movie. Maybe as part of something bigger, I'd like it more.
Visually, it's an incredibly well-made movie. And that's
The
like you
sense
just
of
said,
isolation was good, but it never.
the
It
be-
didn't
the
take
best,
that next.
The
step.
best part of the movie was Michael Fassbender as the
yeah.
android. So if you're looking for that connection to it, watch Alien Covenant, the official sequel, more of a true prequel to the Alien movies. I actually liked Alien Covenant a lot, much more than Prometheus.
Did you like it more than Alien vs Predator?
I don't hate Alien versus Predator.
I
It's-
really do.
Okay, I don't like it, but it was handcuffed by being PG-13 for one, and trying too hard to tie into fan bases of both franchises. It was better. Did you see Alien vs Predator Requiem?
Oh.
Okay, you really want? You will think. What are you laughing at?
We were talking about a lady who got squid
Whoa.
sperm in her mouth. Now we're breaking down Alien. How did we get here?
Because this is what we do on You Watch I Listen. It's just nonsensical bullshit.
It's just.
See, we're bringing it back to movies. It's literally
I
she got squid.
went to Google Alien vs Predator, and there's the headline still up about the squid jizz mouth.
The squid. Oh, dude, that's so gross,
Oh,
though.
I was looking for a
Like,
photo. I couldn't.
there's certain things that do gross me out, and I don't like smells and the idea of like bugs getting in my mouth. A great story about my lovely mother. So you know me, I sleep eat. Just the other day, the landlord found a granola bar underneath my pillow. So this is what happens to me sometimes. I sleepwalk and then I eat things, and I'm assuming I got this from my mom. So, oh God, this is gross. She had a box of jelly crimpets under her
jelly
bed.
crimpet?
It's like, it looks like a Twinkie, but it's got like jelly in it, like strawberry jelly or something. I don't remember who makes it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know what happened, but she started chewing it and she felt like itching on her face. There were all ants in it, and she's like, ah! But the same dumb woman she woke up in the middle of the night and she's like, starts chewing. She slept, ate a bunch of M&Ms, and then fell asleep, and she just had melted M&Ms in her mouth while she was sleeping. It's a good way to die, I guess. Huh. You don't have any weird sleeping habits, do you?
I sleep paralysis.
Oh, I love that.
And I
should have given you the documentary about it. About sleep paralysis, nightmare.
Oh wait, that actually brings me to a story. Remember when we had Richie on?
Yeah,
I brought
sure.
the story about the ghost.
Ghosts.
The ghost.
Yeah, your haunted couch.
Okay, so mystery solved. So the
It's
other
just sperm squid. It's just Bobo staying at your house. Oh, right.
that's what he is. He's a sperm squid.
And a ghost.
So I fell asleep on the couch with
I'm just thinking Bobo standing over you, staring as you sleep. No, that's someone else.
that's Colucci.
Go on.
So I fell asleep on the couch with local news on. I love local news.
Like Channel 12 local news?
I don't get Files 1 News.
Oh.
I fell asleep with Files 1 News on.
Fios 1 News.
And they have a local commercial about some like stoned hippie go to his refrigerator. He sees termites or something.
What?
It was a termite commercial.
Oh my God.
I must have been half asleep.
You
Woke
dreamt
up,
it.
watched the commercial, and thought it was real life.
You thought the news. This man
thought
had
the news
termites.
was a ghost.
It's like. Wasn't there was a movie about Joe's apartment in the 90s? Remember that piece of shit? It was an MTV
It was
movie.
the first MTV film.
Yeah, dude.
They had like the singing bugs in it. the
It's
singing
always
cockroaches.
good when you could work in a reference to anything that is so outside the box. Like someone tweeted to me today a GIF from the movie Heavyweights, and I'm like, fantastic, great movie.
Isn't that where the goalie's from? The guy that just got
Goldberg,
arrested?
yeah.
Goldberg. He's from Heavyweight.
Ben Stiller's in it. There's all kinds of people you'll recognize. You'll be like, holy shit, he's in this.
By the way, I wrote down a headline and I don't remember the headline because it just says "High Lobster,"
High Lobster,
like stoned.
So,
like,
all right, make up a story then.
okay, so
He ate some squid.
So a lobster.
He undercooked some squid.
Actually, in the animal kingdom, squid sperm actually gets lobsters high.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Lobsters are just blowing squids all the time. Come here, let me suck that squid dick. I need to get off. I need to get wet. What kind of high do you think it gives them, though? Is it like a marijuana high or like a PCP high?
So I hear what they do is they fall asleep on their coral reefs, and then they
wait. Lobsters go on coral reefs?
Yeah.
I think they're bottom dwellers.
So coral's on the bottom.
Not always.
So what? It's just floating.
Yeah. It's like a tree. By the way, this is You Watch, I Oceanography.
So wait. They're not 12 feet in the air. They're just like little things on they're like rocks.
No, but they go up like trees and
Yeah,
around.
things grow up.
Do you want to talk about how the coral reef, because of climate change, is dying?
Let's get
Fuck your lobster high.
Wait, I want to know. I
stupid.
need to find out the coral now. Coral.
Okay, while you're looking it up, you talked about PlayStation a minute ago. You saw.
No, you talked about PlayStation.
I talked about PlayStation. The PlayStation
I typed
Classic.
in Coral Height, and there's a place called Coral Heights. Let's check. I want to see what the real estate in Coral Heights is.
No, I don't care about the real estate in Coral Heights.
It's
no
in
one
Oakland,
cares.
Florida. Let's see how much it goes for on Zillow.
You watch, I get you a mortgage. Like, what the fuck?
I know someone who gets a mortgage.
Who?
And he'll also break down going for Mets.
No, he goes for Tribe right
Holy
now.
shit! This apartment goes for $999,000.
How much? Where is this place?
It's in Coral Heights. It's in Oakland,
That doesn't
Florida.
help me. It's in Coral Heights.
The
Oh,
house
it's
goes for $1.3
in Oakland,
million.
Florida. That's where my grandmother lives.
Does she live in Coral Heights?
She lives close to it.
Does she get high off lobsters?
I don't know if my grandmother has ever gotten high. In all honesty, it would be very kind of weird. Like, but my uncle told me he smoked, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And he's gay. Wait, I'm calling someone. I want to see if he picks up. Is this gonna come through?
Wait, can I see your...
No.
I already saw it, but it makes me very happy.
I don't know if someone's gonna pick up. We're kind of just like riffing today, aren't we?
This is like a shoot the shit, but
Yeah,
it's actually a show.
I don't mind.
It's our 20th show.
I think it's kind of what we got. It's our 20th episode. I think it's kind of what we got to do going forward is get the reviews out of the way and the picks.
We burned through all our guests.
No, we didn't burn through our guests. I just think it's kind of hard to coordinate as adults.
Yeah.
Hi, you've reached.
No.
That's some fun editing there.
Do you have to give him arcade things in quarters?
You couldn't hear his name because we started yelling anyway.
Wait.
We tried making a phone call. Yes.
French champagne.
Shut up. So I had a couple things then. The PlayStation Classic. That's.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really pumping all these out. Did they put out an N64 Classic?
No,
or
no.
Which is kind of disappointing.
I have an
What-
N64. I think I have all the games I want
What
for it.
games on a PlayStation Classic? Because there's gonna have 20 titles on it. What would you be
Okay,
looking
let's go.
for?
I didn't originally have the PlayStation. I only had the PlayStation 2, so...
Oh, so you never got to play some of the real classics then?
No, I played it for PlayStation 2. I played them years later.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay,
Because
so,
it was backwards compatible.
Okay, Crash Bandicoot.
You'd have to put Spyro.
Spyro would be on there. They probably have more than one of each.
I was okay.
There'd probably be probably all three Crash Bandicoots would be on
putting. You really think 3? Because you're talking about some like revolutionary games that were on PlayStation, like Silent Hill, Resident Evil.
Resident Evil would be on there.
I have 2 that were like under the radar, and they're
Final Fantasy 7 would be on there.
probably. I was thinking. I don't know if you ever got to play Dino Crisis. Was huge when it came out.
I know the game, never played
And
it.
another one that I think you would love that it was kind of under the radar was Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve was fucking.
Was it Parasite Eve for
It was PlayStation.
It was PlayStation.
It was PlayStation only.
Oh, I'm thinking Perfect Dark.
Parasite
Perfect
Eve.
Dark
Yeah.
was-
Well, I was actually just going to compare it to Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark was in the shadow of GoldenEye, and Parasite Eve was in the shadow of Resident Evil. And Perfect Dark was a really good game, and Parasite Eve was a great game.
They haven't announced the games on it yet.
No, they haven't said any. But it's gonna be 20 titles. I was trying to think of others, but it's been so long since I've played the original PlayStation that you know what they did have on PlayStation? Fucking Space Jam game.
Space. Oh, I own it.
They had the Space Jam.
I bought a whole new PlayStation Classic unit and Space Jam for the fiance's birthday party, and we never played it.
Yeah, that's right. Dude, I used to play that game a lot. My brother would
Is
come
it
in.
good? We never actually hooked it up.
It's fun for what it is. Like, I mean, it's exactly what you would expect it to be. So
Ew.
let's see. So yeah,
Did our
PlayStation-
special guest?
No, he didn't. I got a tweet from Mike Francesa.
Not from him. He just
He
followed
tweeted
him.
me.
Dan.
So we're talking about video games a lot. And sad news, Telltale announced that they're closing their doors today.
What's Telltale?
Telltale Games, like the
What
pick
did
your
they make?
they made the Walking Dead game, the Batman game. They made some. It's kind of like a.
I think the Arkham Asylum.
No, it's not like Arkham Asylum. It's kind of like a pick your own ending kind of game where every decision you make
What
affects
is this? Fucking Goosebumps?
It's more like, okay, so the way I would describe the Telltale games, they're like playing an interactive movie. It's not about the gameplay. It's about the story and the decisions you make that impact the story.
All right,
Characters will remember certain things. Like I played the Batman Telltale game, was incredible. Put a new spin on Batman. The Walking Dead Telltale
Let me
was
see if I
incredible.
recognize any of these games.
You probably wouldn't, but they made a Back to the Future one. They made
Game of
Game of Thrones, Guardians of the Galaxy, Minecraft.
Well, not Minecraft. They made Minecraft Story Mode, whatever that is.
Yeah, I think, well, Telltale is all the same engine.
Ooh, they made Poker Night 2?
You would probably really, really like some of the Telltale games because the stories in them are amazing.
Tales of Monkey Island?
The big one is The Wolf Among Us. You would probably love Wolf Among Us.
Sam and Max? I know Sam and Max.
Yeah, they're
That's the rabbit and the dog,
unfortunately they're
man.
going to be closing their doors.
Bone out of Boneville?
Yeah, dude, they have some weird shit out there.
I never
But
heard.
the one that broke them through was The Walking Dead Telltale, which was as good a story I'd ever played in a game.
The
But
Great
again,
Cow Race.
it's like the nice thing about the Telltale game is you were able to just sit down, hold your controller, and you don't need to be sitting there trying like these wild button combinations. It's like press circle, press square. What do you want to say? Which way do you want to go?
I miss those old point and click games for
That's kind of what
the
it is,
PC.
dude. You can find them.
Do you remember the game? It was called Night of the Tentacle.
Yes, I remember Night of the Tentacle.
I love that game. I've actually been trying to find that.
If you
and
like,
you can't.
if you like Night of the Tentacle, you can find the Telltale games like really cheap sometimes or free. The Batman one, dude, was awesome. Like going back and watch it, you get to see the Joker before he's a Joker and that too.
Oh wow, just like that movie.
Well, that's gonna be all. That looks like
By
it's
the
gonna
way-
be really good.
I
What?
don't want to say it on air because it's kind of fucked up.
Would you?
When I saw the picture of Joaquin Phoenix,
Would you
do you
look at
want to
his
know how I
gross
got
hair?
these scars?
Oh, about his terrible hair lip. Fucking Jimmy hates his hair lip.
I know, he mentioned
And
it.
I love Joaquin Phoenix, but that hair lip is a disaster. And then, so did you? The other thing, did you hear the Super Bowl halftime show?
Isn't it
Maroon 5. Okay, you're in Atlanta. Like, don't you think you should take like a local?
Well, they're gonna do 2 Chainz up there.
That was Francesa's thing. You're gonna have the people up there cursing, okay? And you gotta have a family act.
Wait, okay. Here's the thing. Think of a family act from Atlanta. You know what would be good? Outkast.
Outkast
would have been the choice.
like Maroon 5. Who gives a fuck about?
Yeah, well,
Maroon
you know what
5?
they're going to do.
So,
They're going to bring out
and
some.
we don't watch the Super Bowl for the halftime show, but it is such a thing that is related to it since Michael Jackson broke it through.
The Prince
what is
one is
the Prince one?
The Prince is hands down the
but
best
the
one.
Michael Jackson one is the one that kickstarted it being a spectacle.
That was the first big one.
That was the first one where people were like, "Holy shit!"
None of
What
them
is
are
your
usually
like
good.
ideal if you're gonna pick like halftime show that would not just be a thing for you, but would appeal across multiple fan bases where it can be like.
I think for Atlanta, Outkast. I think Outkast would be the perfect
I think
middle
that's a
ground.
really good out.
Um,
It's a really, really tough one to say because it's like mixing the newer and the younger. Like when Bruno Mars, I don't even like Bruno Mars, but he did do a good
do
halftime
one.
show. Bringing out the Chili Peppers was smart.
Chili Peppers on their own would be up there.
And if you're talking like classic rock, I'm recently learning how much I really don't like Billy Joel. Billy Joel sucks.
I like Billy Joel.
Okay, he's got some really good songs, but when are you going to come to terms with the fact that you like show tunes? Because that's all he does. Billy Joel he's very talented.
Okay,
I would never deny
okay,
it.
I like show tunes.
But
I'm not passionate enough to debate this with you. Okay, you're right.
He would be a good halftime show because he's obviously universally loved for the most part. I'm the outlier, but I can't wait for all the straight men that like are super homophobic to realize that they've been listening to show tunes all these years.
You know what? You're right. There's going to be this big awakening, and like, who gives a like, where
Down the road. Listen, you get angry about stupid things. I get angry about stupid things, and you get angry
You're
about
not even
dumb shit.
angry.
I know. I definitely am angry because someone was telling me how great Billy Joel
I like
is.
Billy Joel.
Whatever. It's like would you rather listen to Bruce or Bon Jovi? Bon Jovi sucks.
Bruce.
Yeah, Bon Jovi sucks.
I'll tell you this: Elton John far superior.
To Billy Joel?
Yeah.
1,000%. Elton John be a great halftime show. Comes out with Eminem and they do Stan like they did at the Grammys. I'd be down.
Holy shit! that'd be-
Elton John's music is
and then
so
he brings
much better.
He brings out Machine Gun Kelly and pushes him off the stage.
I'm so.
I don't even want to talk
Dude,
about. It's
it's
a throwaway
exhausting.
line. I don't want to go into it.
And then let's talk about Bert and Ernie.
I don't care.
Dude, the best is that people cared. Like about puppets. Like we've reached peak too much shit to care about. That was an argument adults were having. Like when I see adults like mad about something they said on The View, like, do you watch The View? Like, don't fucking watch it. They're a bunch of idiots. Like, what do you think they're going to talk about in The View that is for you if you're an adult male?
I don't know. Bert and Ernie, okay, apparently they're gay, but they're not. You know what? They're puppets!
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but the truth of the matter is, when I saw two grown men that are supposed to be puppets that are supposed to be grown men sharing a bed together or living together, what do you think?
I don't think anything. I think they're puppets. I've never once said, "Oh, are they gay?"
Well,
other than being like a stand-up comic joke.
I'm gonna throw Muppets at you, and you're gonna tell me their sexuality. Ready, set, go. Kermit,
puppet.
Miss Piggy,
puppet.
Micah, oh, puppet.
Micah does look like a Muppet.
Micah looks like a Muppet in the pit with Taylor Muppet. Holy shit!
C is for cocksucker.
But no, really, give me some cookies.
Okay, today we're going to learn about Against Me.
And Reliant
K. Okay, here's my reviews on the shows coming up.
Stop that. We're just bucking with you, Mike. I know, In the Pit is actually
by
fantastic.
Far, he's the best guest. I want him on. I want him on
a regular
honestly,
spot.
I would have him on every show if we could.
I would too. He needs to be like the Glenn Humplick of You Watch, I Listen. Right? Just sit back and occasionally chime in and get ridiculed.
Oh,
we should do Where's My Dinner Bitch statues with Micah. Where'd my dinner go, Micah? Just him eating your chicken nuggets.
No, so
Oh, I got a text the other day from one of the guys at the bachelor party. He goes, "Nice stories on the podcast."
Was it who I think it was?
The spender. And he also realized he spent more than he thought.
How?
I don't know.
He's the best.
And the
he
worst
never disappoints.
The worst. This is actually where I feel bad for him and the other friend. The females they met ghosted them.
Oh.
And then I told him, I was like, just start sending her pictures of ghosts. And he started doing it. Just it was like a gif of a ghost with its arms waving.
He let me use his Tinder. And
oh yeah,
he had a few where like I was working it and I just did a left turn and ruined it before he could get anything going.
Isn't that the best thing to do? That's what I took Richie's one.
But he didn't care.
When I took Richie's, I was like, hey, listen, no matter what anyone says, I am not a murderer or a raper. Stops answering.
Yo, so have you ever heard of Kid Boo?
No.
Kid Boo
Should I have?
Is apparently a SoundCloud rapper. He sucks. I listen to him.
All SoundCloud rappers suck.
Yeah, but he really sucks.
He sucks most.
Apparently him and Triple Red.
Who the fuck is Triple Red?
Another SoundCloud rapper.
Ugh.
Revealed that they're actually clones who escaped from the cloning center and are living the best life they can with the talents that the government gave them.
For episode 20 of You Watch,
he also says that Gucci Mane's a clone that went rogue.
People have access.
I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like the guy just for being so fucking ridiculous.
We've reached a point where there's too many platforms for too many people. You got SoundCloud, like us.
I didn't mean to click that.
It's just. Oh, God, what do you mean you're clones?
Well, what you know?
Clones of what?
Oh wait, I found the lobster article.
Shut up!
A restaurant in Maine.
What did you Google to find it?
High lobster. So apparently, a restaurant in Maine is blowing marijuana in a lobster's cage.
Okay.
Before they boil them, so they have a last hurrah, and it's more humane because they're just chilling while they're being boiled alive.
A lobster can't get high. A lobster doesn't have a central nervous system. It can't get high.
They're just wasting weed.
They're just wasting weed. Are they smoking and blowing it into the cage?
I don't,
that's why one of my favorite things are people like, oh, lobsters scream when they are screaming.
It's steam coming out of
steam. Lobsters don't feel pain. Most seafood doesn't feel pain. So shut up with your veganism.
He says, I feel bad that when lobsters come here, there is no exit strategy. What is it, Iraq 2005?
All right, I don't have much of anything else. Did you see the Browns? The guy caught a possum during the game. There's a guy in the crowd, and you just see him. He's got a possum by the tail. That would only happen in Cleveland.
I've been to that stadium. It's a dump.
Well, what's Cleveland?
A dump.
Yeah, the state of Ohio.
I went to
dump.
Cleveland. Me and Ken went to Cleveland.
Does Cleveland rock?
No. The Rock and Roll Museum's pretty cool.
Oh, the Rock and Roll Hall
I'll
of
give you
Fame
that.
is great.
So
sure.
we went there, and we went with this guy. Let's just call him
Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley. And we're driving there, and he just goes, "I want to go to the house where the girls got raped."
I remember you telling me that. Like,
Yeah,
why do you want to go
He really
there?
wanted to go to the Ariel Castro house, which is really creepy, but we just happened to be passing it, so we said, yeah, let's go there. Yo.
Did he jerk off? Oh, God.
First of all, they knocked the house down, so we just stared at an empty field.
He jerked off in the empty field? Or in the car?
Why is he jerking off?
Because he was turned on by it.
Yo, he literally
Poor Stanley.
said, his words, "I want to go to the house where the girls got raped."
You should have said which. Bring him to your house. God.
Good one.
Too far?
Yes!
Are you going to have to edit that out?
No, I'll keep it.
now-
Just say that you're making a joke.
Okay, so before we get to our hot takes, I'm
Say it.
making a joke. Before we get to our hot takes, IKEA bullied a potted plant while encouraging another. Then shows school. What?
They said that if you bully a plant,
You can't bully. I understand what they're trying to say, that they gave like positive reinforcement to the one plant, because don't they say if like you talk to the plant, it's
Did
good
you
for
ever
it?
expect those words in that particular order to ever be
okay,
printed?
to be fair, they have bullied in quotes. They bullied. What? Like, how would you bully a plant?
You're bad at photosynthesis. Your mitochondria suck.
Your soil's dry.
You're not getting proper nutrients.
Your roots don't go deep. Like, what do you say? Like, you can't call it a whore. Like, what are you gonna do?
Don't they have both set of genitals, so all plants by default are whores? They just keep banging themselves.
They fuck themselves. Get it?
You watch, I listen. Episode
Wait, so
12,
we gotta get
20,
to
whatever.
Our hot takes.
All right.
Do you want to go first, or you have one?
I actually do have one.
Okay, go for it.
This has been.
You take mine. I'll be so
this
mad.
This has been a stupid ass show.
It's been like the Tim and Eric of You Watch, I Listen. I've been laughing pretty
This
hard,
has been
and
a fun one,
I almost threw up
This
too.
has been a dumb show.
Yeah, for
you know
sure.
What this is? When we decided to make a podcast, I expected every show to fall.
Well, I think now that I like the format of jumping into the reviews and then the picks,
Yeah.
because then we could just riff without feeling we have to go back to anything. So that means to be our new format.
You know what we should do? We should do lightning reviews one week where we just go, didn't like it, next.
That's actually not a bad idea. We make a list. We take a hat and we put album names in it, or albums and movies, and then rip out.
Bullet.
Okay,
And we rate it out of 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I like
3,
it.
5. Okay. I actually have
That'd be a good video to post too. What's your hot take?
Be a good video to what? Just us pulling things out of a hat?
No, but like a rapid review kind of thing.
Okay,
like for
okay.
content
It'll
purposes.
be yeah,
So-
in the pit Taylor
Yeah,
makeup.
yeah.
So today actually I was listening to Francesa, and it's
Yes.
only kind of a sports take, but today's actually the
I actually think
anniversary.
he's been great since the season started. He's been very enjoyable recently.
Oh, he's been awesome.
He's been fantastic.
I-
he seems very happy.
He seems happy, but he's he's actually laughed at a few of the prank calls.
Yeah,
which I don't like
think-
though.
I know, because I like asshole. I'm never wrong, Francesa.
You
Did
got-
you watch the new Mike's On 1781 I sent you?
Oh,
He
that's
did
a new one? I thought
he
that was
did-
the
no,
old
he did a
one.
brand new one.
Oh, I'll have
and
to
he
look.
goes, Cornwallis wasn't Cornwallis, and I never said that the British were going to win. I was always about
That
General
video
George
is one of the
Washington.
best parodies.
He's brilliant. So go on with your hot
So
take.
Francesco was talking. Today's actually the 18th anniversary of
The Mike-
17th rather of the Mike Piazza home run.
Yes, and
So-
for people that don't, just to clarify, it was the first game played in New York after September 11th. Mets against Braves. The Mets were down by 2, and
Two in
he-
the 7th or the 8th
and he hit
inning?
a 3-run home
Home
run
run.
to go ahead, and everyone at that point was a Mets fan, because
Yeah.
it was just an incredible. Even the Braves were like, we can't be mad.
So for people, and most of the people that listen are probably in this area, but we do have listeners from all over.
Alaska, we have listeners.
And by the way, that's Bill. You know that, right?
No, we have like multiple in Alaska. Like
Oh.
we actually have listeners in 37 of 50 states.
Oh, what states
Crazy.
are fucking up?
I know, Montana actually, which is weird because I was just there. I didn't network well. I didn't network when I was
No,
there.
we know. Didn't you
When-
go get pulled over or something? What happened to you? Didn't you get?
No, that was at the Rob Zombie Marilyn Manson concert.
Oh,
when
yeah,
Richie
all
and I
your
just got
stories.
go on about the home run.
So people outside this area, of course, 9/11, huge story. Everyone
They're big
knows.
fans of
the biggest event in our lifetime. You would say. You would have to.
The Marshall Mathers LP.
Yeah. So probably a strong number 2.
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2. Not even Shrek. So
Just compared Shrek 2 to 9/11. Go on.
And I think for a lot of people, which I'm not really wasn't aware of that, a lot of people, 9/11, while it gets press and stuff, it's not the way it is here, where people, it's just a day.
It was
almost
our
the way,
backyard. It was our backyard.
It was our backyard.
Man.
And
I
I
see
think
the smoke from Skyline Drive, which is 5 minutes away.
People here take it more personally than other places.
For
Obviously, it's all friends or family, and
there was the day on 9/11. There was obviously a fear across the country, but living within 30 to 40 minutes of the city, it was a real, like, you're worried about people you knew, you're worried about people you loved.
You didn't have internet wasn't the way it is now. People didn't know what was going on.
Cell phone towers went down, so if you had a cell phone, you couldn't get in touch.
We didn't even know who did it. It could have been domestic for all we know.
I got picked up from school, and I remember my mom picked me up, and the first words I heard out of her mouth, I remember so vividly, was, "Your aunt was attacked." And I'm like, why are you picking me up? Like, what does that have to do? And then I heard America's under attack, and I didn't know what to be thinking. We were in 7th grade, so I was like, are bombs going to be dropping? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I remember that night a fire broke out in the oil fields in Iraq or Kuwait, one of those.
Okay.
And people thought that America was like
already
at war.
retaliating.
Yeah, and it just happened to be some dumbass threw a cigarette licking the oil or something. But the Mike Piazza home run, and I'm not a Mets fan despite my black Mets hat that I wear.
Shut up.
But it's one of those moments that it transcended sports, and it's one of those things where the game itself really didn't mean anything, and in the moment it meant nothing.
Yeah, of course.
Where a team that really never had an iconic moment.
That's by far. It's like that and Sid Fernandez throwing the glove up in the air.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where Mike Piazza in that moment was the most important person in that city. He
might have been the most important person in... Yeah. That isn't a government official. It might have been the most important person in America because and you said transcend sports. I don't know if that's the right word, but it showed the unifying power of
that's
sports.
A better way to put it, where sports finally became a relief again. It became what it's supposed to be.
It made us feel like life is going to go on.
And
there was nothing to fear for that moment.
I kind of, because I'm not a Mets fan, it's one of those things that I only think about it once a year, really, or if, I'm watching something about Piazza, but like I was listening to the call he played on.
Oh my God! What a great call from Howie Rose.
Definitely his top call out.
Yeah, and he's an incredible play-by-play guy.
And I'm sitting there at my desk at work, like tearing up because it just brought back all those memories. So it just it's just one of those things.
I don't know if you were watching that game live when it happened, but I was.
Honestly, I don't even remember.
There were two amazing moments in New York sports after that happened. Obviously, the Piazza home run, and then George W. Bush throwing out the opening pitch and a fucking strike right down the middle. George W.
The most iconic World Series ever.
Yeah,
fair.
It
was that actually is the moment in my life. There's a few times in your life where everything changes. Be it a major death in your family, or
a car accident, like where a car you feel weird after driving. Shrek 2, all these things.
And I feel like that moment.
Sorry, almost I meant Shrek the Third.
Almost like the Kennedy assassination.
Are you saying the Kennedy assassination is like Shrek the Third?
What's your hot take?
My hot take. This is actually.
I really tried to actually have a pointed moment.
No.
One.
I would like to. No, you make a great point, and there's certain things that you remember in your lifetime. I remember one of my first memories of like a historical thing was the Oklahoma City bombing, Columbine we were in like 6th grade, I think, 5th or 6th grade.
We were in 5th grade.
The 9/11. There's just certain things, but there's a couple of things that can truly be unifying. And I saw a great quote from Dave Grohl about it the other day, and he said, when you get a group of 30,000 strangers in a building and they all know the words to one rock song, no one cares about your political beliefs, no one cares about your thoughts on anything, and that's unifying power in music. And sports can have that beautiful unifying power in those moments. And something like
Shrek the Third.
Here's another recent example. Jose Fernandez, after his passing, when D. Gordon hit the home run, he hadn't hit a home run all year. That was against my team, and I was happy for the Marlins.
That was one of the coolest. I think I saw that one live.
Yeah, I was watching it live. I remember I teared up watching the pregame ceremony because baseball, I feel like like when I was a little kid, pro wrestlers were superheroes. To me, baseball players almost are like real life superheroes. I think what they do is amazing, especially when they're as great as Jose Fernandez was. So, you make that's a really good. I mean, I don't know if it's so much a hot take, but it's along those lines about Piazza. Just the power of sports sometimes.
Here's a take. 9/11 was bad, but that home run was cool.
Oh, they're going to say 9/11 wasn't as good as Shrek 2.
I would say yes, you are correct. Shrek 2
was
is far
better.
better than 9/11. Most things are better than 9/11.
Name something it isn't.
The Kennedy assassination? I think 9/11's worse.
Challenger?
9/11's worse. I don't think anything's worse than 9/11.
The French champagne.
You're fucking was Muhammad Atta drinking French champagne while watching Shrek 2? Oh my God. In flight
You
movie.
are like I mean I'm not gonna I can't even edit it. There's gonna be nothing left of the show.
All right. So my hot take. This is something that just came from the news headlines today.
Dan Perosi.
Also sports
In the
related.
pit with Dan.
With Dan Micah.
Danica.
So
Danica Patrick.
Danica Patrick. That's not even a play on words. That's her name. You asshole.
Biodome.
Great movie. So we saw last night the NFL debut of Baker Mayfield. Did you see what Hugh Jackson said about it today?
Oh my God! I'll watch the film. Fuck you.
I need to watch the film, and and you as well, have been a long defender of Tyrod Taylor. But to see the difference in the way the team performed from Tyrod Taylor to Baker Mayfield, dude, you are
Baker Mayfield had whatever happens to his career, unless his career goes Johnny Manziel. It's one of the most memorable
He only
debuts
needs
I've
one
seen.
more win to tie Johnny Manziel's wins with the Browns. But Hugh Jackson thinking at a record of 33-1 over the last 2.5 seasons, he has to look at the film.
Let's actually just do over the last 3 seasons. He's got 2 wins.
Yeah,
okay,
fair.
He makes it work.
Completely fair. The fact that it's got to be a thought to him that who he's going to start when instantly he got on the field and they got points. And that he has to look at the film. Like, what? I understand that you want to be a player's coach, but you need to back up who your fucking starter is for the next 10 years if you want to be there the next 10 years.
Well, okay. The only thing I can think of, and I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt, this is just counter argument for the sake of counter argument, is that he wants to have the discussion with Tyrod first. That's the only thing I can think of. Do it like man to man. I can only, that's the only thing I could think of. I would come out and say that. I would say that if I was him. I would say, listen, I got to talk to both of them.
I guess I get that, but Hugh Jackson's another guy I've defended for a long time because I didn't think he was
He is not a good coach.
But what's weird is he coached decently in Oakland and they dumped him, and then he just doesn't know. I think he's too comfortable being buddy-buddy with the coach because you can see it in the sloppiness of his teams as well. They're so undisciplined.
I'll say this. Once I started watching Hard Knocks, like within 2 episodes, I said this guy's...
How about that fucking Browns defense, though? That is a fucking
Myles
defense.
Garrett.
What about Denzel Ward?
By the way, when they took Denzel Ward, everyone thought what a waste of a pick because everyone assumed it was going to be
an
Chubb.
instant impact player.
Everyone thought it was going to be Chubb or at the worst the guard.
Yeah. All right, so why don't we wrap up? I want to give a shout out again to our buddies at Lobo Sound. To go check them out at lobosound.com and check out the Bobo Show EP. Shout out to hashtag Shots for Like Podcast with Fudge and Finn. We will be on with them soon, hopefully. My thought on that is if we did October 5th and we were getting drunk, Ralph, ride with me here. The next day is the McGregor kebab fight, and I figured what we should do is get drunk there. You and the fiance crash here. Next day we record our show, and then we hang out and watch the fight.
I assume we're recording there, right?
Yeah, we're going to record their show there, and then we could do ours here the
Okay.
next day. So that's my tentative plan. I just have to confirm with the landlord if everything works out there. So again, go check those guys out. This was episode 20. I had a lot of fun on this one.
This was off the rails.
So again, for you watch I listen, go check those guys out. Also check out the Dare Daniel podcast.
I'm Ralph.
And a shout out to Bob Hegan on Twitter.
I'm Ralph.
And
I'm Ralph.
I'm Dan, and you're in the pit. Bye.